The booth beside the kitchen light is where the truest people sit. Too near the swinging door for glamour, too far from the stage for theater, just close enough to the clatter of plates to remember the world is made by hands. You chose it without apology. I loved you a little for that. From there we could hear the cook curse gently, hear glasses stacked like small glass prayers, smell garlic, coffee, orange peel, rain. My dress looked less expensive in that light. My laugh looked more honest. The kitchen door opened and shut, opening and shutting our faces into tenderness. There are better tables for being seen. This one was made for being known. That's rarer. That's what I was thirsty for. In the booth beside the kitchen light, love wears its real sleeves. No chandelier, no spectacle, just your hand around the water glass, and my heart easing one button loose. In the booth beside the kitchen light, everything ordinary turns holy enough. You asked me what I ate as a child when things were good. No one had ever asked me that on a date. I said tomatoes with salt, bread heel dipped in gravy, peaches over the sink in August. You said that's how you knew whether to trust a person, not by what they ordered now, but by what fed them before they learned to pose. The swinging door kept blessing us with steam. The organ held the room together. When your thumb brushed the back of my wrist, it felt less like a spark than a place setting laid correctly at last. Maybe romance has been oversold by front rooms. Maybe the back half of the bar is where devotion actually learns to sit down. In the booth beside the kitchen light, love wears its real sleeves. No chandelier, no spectacle, just your hand around the water glass, and my heart easing one button loose. In the booth beside the kitchen light, everything ordinary turns holy enough. When we left, the dishwasher waved with one wet hand. Somehow that felt like blessing too. Someone came in through the service door, carrying gardenias in brown paper. And for one sweet minute, the whole room forgot its old smoke. Even the red lamp softened, Even the waitress with tired wrists lifted her chin above the tray as if a memory had just crossed the threshold. You set the bundle near the sink, beside clean knives and soda crates, and suddenly I could remember my mother's bracelets. Summer starch, cool tile in a house long sold, the exact white of dress hems drying at dusk. Nobody asked who sent them, nobody had to. Fragrance is a dangerous kindness, it opens doors the mind nailed shut. One breath and the whole body starts telling the truth. Gardenias through the service door, white as a lie told gently, white as a hymn in a room built for sin, white as a woman deciding to hope again. Gardenias through the service door, stay until the smoke remembers sweetness, stay until my heart lets go of its old careful posture. All night the petals opened, and all night the room moved slower. A couple in the far booth stopped arguing, the bartender poured with both hands softer. I sang my set as if every vowel had been rinsed in milk. You watched from the pantry curtain, sleeves rolled tie loose, smiling like you knew that flowers can outdo confessions. Near closing, one bloom dropped free and landed by the mop bucket. I picked it up like a note from another life and tucked it above one ear. There are nights that save you with grand gestures, there are nights that save you with perfume. This was the second kind, the hidden kind, the kind that leaves no scar except tenderness. Gardenias through the service door, white as a lie told gently, white as a hymn in a room built for sin, white as a woman deciding to hope again. Gardenias through the service door, stay until the smoke remembers sweetness, stay until my heart lets go of its old careful posture. At closing, one bloom remained, I wore it home like proof. We wrote nothing down at first, only circles in condensation. My glass on one coaster, yours on another, both of them soaking up the kind of silence that means a decision is coming. You asked if I still sang standards after the room emptied out. I said only for people who know how to listen with their shoulders lowered. You smiled into your drink, drew a line between the rings with one red nail. and suddenly the whole bar looked like a map of some small country where we could disappear without leaving town. No witness but the lamp, no signature but water, no promise but the way your hand stayed open near mine. Our secret on two coasters, two pale moons on a black lacquer table, saying more than the mouths above them could. Our secret on two coasters, not a vow, not a scandal, just the sweetest little truce between wanting and being afraid. By the second set, the ice had thinned. Somebody laughed in the hallway. The chef sent out oranges with salt. I turned your coaster over, wrote one line from an old torch song, then covered it with my glass again. You didn't peek, that's how I knew the room grew warmer, smaller. The conga pulse tucked under everything like a second heartbeat. You touched the edge of my sleeve and said very softly, I don't need the whole truth, I only need the one you're ready to keep. If the night had asked us to be grand, we would have failed it. But this place asked only for nearness, for a table, two circles of water, and courage measured in inches. Our secret on two coasters, two pale moons on a black lacquer table, saying more than the mouths above them could. Our secret on two coasters, not a vow, not a scandal, just the sweetest little truce between wanting and being afraid. I slipped both coasters in my bag at closing. Even paper can keep a pulse. Green cherry at 113, skewered like a little traffic light. Over the pale gold of my drink, I remember the exact minute. Because the room changed, then the front door shut against the rain. The hidden curtain breathed. You looked up from your folded hands, as if hearing your own name in another language. I had been singing softly to table 9, nothing personal, just a standard, when your face arrived in the side mirror and made the lyric mean itself. The cherry swung The whole night narrowed to one red mouth, one green jewel, one stare. Isn't it strange how a life can hinge on something no bigger than fruit and light? Green cherry at 1:13, don't sink yet, don't lose your shine. Hold the minute open while I decide whether to fall. Green cherry at 1:13, tiny lantern over a dangerous sweetness. Keep floating there until my heart learns the room. By 1:20, you crossed the floor, not quickly, never quickly, the way elegant risks are taken. You asked whether the song was old, I said yes, but not tired. You said the same thing about me, and I forgave you because of the way you smiled after saying it. The harp in the corner speaker spilled another line of moonlight. Your hand reached for the cherry stem, stopped just short of touching it, and stopped just short of touching me. The almost of it did more damage than a kiss. All night I have been teaching strangers how to hear longing in a low key. Then you arrive, and the lesson turns back on me. Green cherry at 1:13, don't sink yet, don't lose your shine. Hold the minute open while I decide whether to fall. Green cherry at 1:13, tiny lantern over a dangerous sweetness. Keep floating there until my heart learns the room. At last call, the cherry was gone, but the minute stayed bright in my mouth. White heels by the prep sink, straps undone beside the clean knives, stood there like two little surrender flags. After my third set, I sang in them because the room expected shine. I stepped out of them because my feet were telling the truth. The cook was slicing lemons, the dishwasher stacking miracles, and I leaned against the tile in stocking feet and stage sweat. Suddenly more myself than under any spotlight. You found me there by accident, or maybe by the kind of accident that follows a woman all night after she's been seen correctly from across a room. You didn't tell me I look beautiful, thank God. You said I look tired, and somehow that felt like devotion. White heels by the prep sink, let them cool, let them wait. I have walked enough for one evening, love me here. With my height returned to honesty, with my voice off duty, with my hands smelling faintly of lemon and applause. I told you my feet always hurt after songs about women who never bend. You said no real woman survives without bending. The cello in the dining room was only a speaker by then, but it sounded close enough to ache in. You rolled my stockings at the ankle like you were unwrapping a bruise. No hurry, no performance, just tile, steam, low light, and two people talking softer than the room had earned. The heels leaned together under the sink as if even they were relieved. There are glamorous kinds of intimacy, and then there is this. A back room, a woman barefoot at last, and someone gentle enough not to turn the moment into a conquest. White heels by the prep sink, let them cool, let them wait. I have walked enough for one evening, love me here. With my height returned to honesty, with my voice off duty, with my hand smelling faintly of lemon and applause. I left in flats carrying the white heels by their straps. The night had already given me enough height. Last call for girls in satin, girls with their mascara still brave, girls who came in laughing too loudly so nobody would hear the weak on them. One has a heel in her hand, one is fixing her mouth in the mirror, one is counting bus money and pretending not to cry. I sing for all of them, for the women who powder in public and unravel in cabs, for the girls who know how to turn a back booth into a chapel. The room is almost done with us, but not yet, not gently enough. So gather your silk and your stories, gather your bruised little halos. There is still one chorus left before the lights become unkind. Last call for girls in satin, come hold the night a minute more. Let the doorway wait, let the dawn miss our names. Last call for girls in satin, every shimmer on you earned, every soft laugh hard won, every heartbreak cut to fit a dress. The bartender sends us cherries on picks, the cook sends fries in paper. Somebody puts perfume on both wrists, like that alone could bless the exit. We toast to low rent and high standards, to not texting back, to every woman who learned the difference between being wanted and being cherished. A girl I don't know hugs me after the set and says, you sang it like a mirror. Honey, that's because tonight all of us were looking for ourselves in one another. the sidewalks, the trains, the plain-speaking men. Give us this velvet minute, this room that lets us glitter without asking what it costs. Last call for girls in satin. Come hold the night a minute more. Let the doorway wait. Let the dawn miss our names. Last call for girls in satin. Every shimmer on you earned, every soft laugh hard won, every heartbreak cut to fit a dress. We leave in twos and threes, carrying each other's weather. The satin remembers. Candle wax on the guest check sealed the numbers where the wine had gone. The room looked handmade, all red velvet and chipped lacquer, as if somebody loved it enough to let it be imperfect. You read the menu upside down and guessed what I would choose. Anchovies, rye toast, one bitter thing, one sweet thing, no apology. I laughed because you were right. The flame leaned toward us. The wax ran in a thin white river over the total and the tip line, turning arithmetic into omen. Some nights are written in ink. This one was written in melt and shadow, and all the little accidents that look like fate from close up. Candle wax on the guest check, sealing up the price of everything but this. Candle wax on the guest check, soft little moonfall over figures and initials. If the room forgets us by morning, let the paper keep the heat. Let one white drop say we were here and we were tender. A woman at the piano slipped from a standard into something private. The bartender dimmed the back shelf. Your knee found mine under the tablecloth and stayed there like a quiet decision. We spoke about nothing grand. Who taught us to drink slowly? Who taught us to leave first? Which cities made us lonelier than others? But the flame kept bending in approval, and the wax kept cooling over the bill, as if to say, don't rush a night that's trying to become a keepsake. Tomorrow we'll ask for totals, for receipts, for names, for clean conclusions. Tonight gives none of that. Tonight is a spill of light, a table for two, and the privilege of not being solved. Candle wax on the guest check, sealing up the price of everything but this. Candle wax on the guest check, soft little moonfall over figures and initials. If the room forgets us by morning, let the paper keep the heat. Let one white drop say we were here and we were tender. I folded the check in quarters and kept the wax unbroken. There was powder on the back banquette where the girls before us fixed their faces. Pale weather on the vinyl seam, little clouds of courage under low red bulbs. My friend kissed the rim of her coupe and said, "Baby, men coming loud and leave in pieces." I said nothing, only watched the mirror behind the bottles turn strangers into saints and saints into women who needed one more song. The server brought anchovies, warm bread, butter soft as apology, and we sat there like a republic of survival. Nobody at our table wanted rescue. We wanted room, we wanted one clean chord and enough dimness to become ourselves again. Powder on the back banquette, moon dust on our borrowed armor. We were not broken, only dim lit, only learning how to glow without asking anybody's permission. Powder on the back banquette, soft as everything we lived through and stayed alive for. A girl in satin gloves came laughing through the aisle, kissed both our cheeks and left a sadness in the ashtray. By mistake, someone behind the curtain dropped a tray. Someone at the piano missed a note and made it sound intentional. We dabbed our mouths, touched up the corners of our patience, drew ourselves back into focus with two compact mirrors and a private oath. No begging, no backward glances, no letting the night decide our worth. Just lips, slow light, and a booth that knew how to hold women gently. If beauty is a ritual, then so is endurance. If glamour is a trick, then friendship is the hand that steadies it. We left fingerprints in the powder and a little piece in the room. Powder on the back banquette, moon dust on our borrowed armor. We were not broken, only dim lit, only learning how to glow without asking anybody's permission. Powder on the back banquette, soft as everything we lived through and stayed alive for. By midnight the booth knew like women who had remembered. In the powder room, that's what it sounded like after midnight. The melody drifting through the cracked little door, where women came to fix what the room had moved. Lipstick, straps, eyeliner, courage, all of it touched up under one tired bulb. I leaned to the mirror and saw my mother's mouth in mine, not in shape, but in the way it stayed composed through weather. Outside, the piano blurred another standard. Inside, a girl in green silk asked if I had a pin for her hem. I did. Women are forever rescuing one another in pieces too small for men to notice. The music came through the wall like a secret exhaled through velvet. Every note made the tiny room feel less like repair and more like ceremony. Piano smoke in the powder room, curl around my throat, my wrists, my name. Teach me how to leave the mirror softer than I entered it. Piano smoke in the powder room, make a chapel of powder tile and in bloom. Make a hymn for women rebuilding themselves between songs. When I went back out, you were waiting by the hallway, holding my compact like a relic. You said you forgot your moon. I laughed and took it from your palm, but your fingers stayed beneath mine one beat longer. The room was fuller than emptier than full again, with another kind of loneliness. I sang the next stead lower, with more breath than belt, like I was letting the powder room teach me the elegant difference between strength and hardness. At one point I saw you close your eyes on the chorus. That is a kind of kiss too. A hidden bar survives on repeats. Same lamp, same ice, same old standards. A woman survives on revisions. Tonight I revised myself in smoke. Piano smoke in the powder room, curl around my throat, my wrists, my name. Teach me how to leave the mirror softer than I entered it. Piano smoke in the powder room, make a chapel of powder tile and in bloom. Make a hymn for women rebuilding themselves between songs. Back at the mirror, near closing, there was powder on the sink and peace on my face. The bartender keeps my perfume in the back shelf with a bed of vermouth. Not the whole bottle, just the little atomizer I forgot one winter and never took back. He says it sweetens the room on nights when the crowd comes in too sharp. One spray near the curtain, one at the end of the bar, and suddenly everybody speaks softer. Maybe that's superstition, maybe memory is simply a solvent that changes the air around it. You were there the first time he used it, and your face altered at once, as if the room had opened a drawer where I kept all my unfinished versions. Scent is the cruelest archive. It carries no dates, only impact. One breath and the body knows what the mind tried to misfile. The bartender keeps my perfume, and the whole room fills with old velvet. Not old love exactly, just old possibility. Old laughter in a dark glass, old skin remembering it was wanted. The bartender keeps my perfume, and I keep pretending I'm not listening for you in it. You asked what it was called, I said the bottle never said. Cheap atomizer, department store gone now. Maybe that made it more powerful. Unnamed things always travel farther. The harp in the speaker sounded like someone sorting letters. I watched you breathe the room in slowly, watched your jaw loose and watched your hands stop performing composure. Then you said, no wonder nobody leaves on time when you sing. I should have laughed. Instead I looked at the back shelf and felt every forgotten self of mine rise like powder in sunlight. I have left traces in so many places. Lipstick on glass, heel marks in alleys, songs in strangers' collars. But fragrance is the one that comes back for me. The bartender keeps my perfume, and the whole room fills with old velvet. Not old love exactly, just old possibility. Old laughter in the dark glass, old skin remembering it was wanted. The bartender keeps my perfume, and I keep pretending I'm not listening for you in it. Near closing, he sprayed we both stayed another song. Lip gloss on the silver stirrer left a pink crescent near the twist of lemon. Such a small piece of evidence for the trouble I was in. You had been saying very reasonable things, the weather downtown, the ridiculous price of olives, the song the pianist kept refusing to finish. But every time I lifted the glass, there it was, my mouth printed on metal, bright as a confession, proof that I had been leaning a little too far toward you all night. The room was cool in the expensive way, all lacquer, velvet, and hidden appetite. My pulse was not. You asked what I was smiling at. I said nothing safe. You looked pleased, which was its own undoing. Lip gloss on the silver stirrer. Don't let me pretend this is casual. That little pink mark knows better. It saw the way I listened when you lowered your voice. Lip gloss on the silver stirrer. Tell the truth before I get shy again. Tell it softly, but tell it. Later when the room thinned out, you reached for the stirrer and turned it slowly between your fingers, studying my gloss like a horoscope. Dangerous color, you said. I answered, only if you stay. We both laughed, but not enough to hide the sincerity. The vibraphone in the speaker made the air taste silver. A waiter passed with oysters. Someone at the far end booth kissed badly. You leaned closer and asked whether I always flirted by leaving evidence in plain sight. I said, only when I want to be found. Desire is rarely grand in rooms like this. It gathers in accessories, a stirrer, a wrist, a gloss mark, the inch between two bar stools. That's why it lasts. Lip gloss on the silver stirrer. Don't let me pretend this is casual. That little pink mark knows better. It saw the way I listened when you lowered your voice. Lip gloss on the silver stirrer. Tell the truth before I get shy again. Tell it softly, but tell it. I slipped the stirrer in my clutch. Some keepsakes are shameless. Small talk under a broken sconce always sounds more honest somehow. Maybe it's the bad light, maybe it's the fact that anything imperfect gives people permission to tell the truth. You asked what neighborhood I came from. I told you 3.5 versions. You told me about your father teaching you cards in a laundromat back room. I told you about my aunt drinking coffee from a champagne coupe because she liked the shape of extravagance. We weren't flirting, not exactly. We were circling the perimeter of where flirting gets its real electricity. Recognition. The sconce buzzed once, failed, revived. Even the lights seemed undecided. So were we, and that made the table glow. Small talk under a broken sconce. That's how strangers become dangerous. Not by kissing, not by boasting, but by answering a simple question with something true enough to tremble. Small talk under a broken sconce, and suddenly the whole room leans in. The bartender changed the candles. A woman in plum lipstick dropped a glove and never came back for it. Your drink sweated a ring on the wood. Mine went warm untouched. You asked whether singing for strangers ever made me lonelier. I said yes, but less than silence did. You nodded like someone filing that answer somewhere important. Then you said, I like the version of you that's not performing right now. I looked at the broken sconce above us and thought, same. Some lights are flattering, some lights are intimate. If I had met you in the sun, I might have smiled and kept walking. But this room, this failed little bulb, this hour after all respectable explanations, they made space for the real thing. Small talk under a broken sconce. That's how strangers become dangerous. Not by kissing, not by boasting, but by answering a simple question with something true enough to tremble. Small talk under a broken sconce, and suddenly the whole room leans in. When the sconce went dark for good, neither of us moved away. the green exit lamp, my lipstick turns the color of old cherries, and the room turns kind enough to let a woman choose her own name. Nobody here asks questions straight. They order ice, they order mercy. They lean into the hush between songs and call it atmosphere. You watch me from the corner booth as if you know the trick already. How a girl can step out of the weather and bloom inside a borrowed shade. You don't move too fast, you don't make the night feel cheap. You only lift your glass a little, like asking if I'd like the dark to keep us. Call me Rouge under the exit lamp, red in the mouth, green in the halo. Call me the version of myself that doesn't flinch when the room goes soft. If you stay close like velvet, not like thunder, not like death. Under the exit lamp, Rouge, I can almost believe what I haven't said yet. The woman at the coat rack yawns, the bartender dries the same long-stemmed glass, and somewhere past the curtain, the dishwasher hums with the melody. You slide a napkin toward my hand, not touching, only near enough to make the pulse in my wrist remember that it was born for more than leaving. I tell you I have practiced vanishing. You tell me softly, then don't tonight. Outside, a taxi bruises the curb. Inside, the lamp keeps tinting every goodbye unfinished. Maybe I am only beautiful when nobody turns the lights up. Maybe I am only honest when the room smells like citrus and cold silver. Maybe that's enough. A borrowed booth, a borrowed hour, and one man kind enough to hear my silence as an answer. Call me Rouge under the exit lamp, red in the mouth, green in the halo. Call me the version of myself that doesn't flinch when the room goes soft. If you stay close like velvet, not like thunder, not like death. Under the exit lamp, Rouge, I can almost believe what I haven't said yet. When the last glass dries and the floor goes dark around our shoes, leave the lamp burning a minute longer. Let it remember me in color. She ordered silence with lime, and the bartender knew exactly what she meant. No garnished speech, no questions, no bright little jokes slid across the lacquer. Just the glass, just the wedge, just the room made slightly kinder around her. I was singing near the pillar when she came in, wearing black gloves and the expression women wear when they have survived something public and intend to keep the details private. Every table tracked her without staring. Every woman in the place recognized the shape of restraint. I have wanted men, I have wanted money. Tonight I wanted what she had, the right to arrive and not explain the weather on me. She ordered silence with lime, and I wanted one too. Something cold, exact and unsentimental. Something that says I am here but not available for inspection. She ordered silence with wine, and the whole room lowered its voice, as if elegance itself had taken a stool. By the second song she looked my way, tipped her glass a fraction, and smiled with only one corner of her mouth. It felt like being invited into a language built of thresholds. Later in the narrow hall by the coats, she asked if I always sang like that, as if every note had a lock on it. I said only on nights when I wanna keep something mine. She laughed softly, then we should talk. We did, but not much. Names, neighborhoods, where the grief improves your taste. Enough to know she wore her silence the way other women wear diamonds, cut to catch light, not questions. The room kept moving around us, marimba glass, cash drawer, low gossip. But inside that small exchange there was a stillness almost luxurious. She ordered silence with lime, and I wanted one too. Something cold, exact and unsentimental. Something that says I am here but not available for inspection. She ordered silence with lime, and the whole room lowered its voice, as if elegance itself had taken a stool. When she left, the lime rind stayed on the napkin, curling slowly into memory. The olive dish beside the till keeps better secrets than the room. A lucky coin, a bent bobby pin, the red paper from a cough drop, your number folded neat as contraband. You laughed when I said the martini needed less gin and more forgiveness. The bartender kept polishing a glass without looking up once. Everybody in this place knows how to be discreet for a price, but you were discreet for free, which made me trust you more. You never asked me where I lived, asked who I used to love, you only turned the dish between your fingers until the light moved over the olives like a small green moon. Leave it there in the olive dish, leave it where the register sings. Leave your number by the salt and pitted shine. Let me want it before I take it. I have gone home with louder promises, none of them stayed this warm. Leave it there in the olive dish and let my heart reach for it on its own. Two stools down, a woman in pearls told a friend she'd had enough of being understood. We both pretended not to hear, though the room held her sentence like smoke. You tipped in singles, exact change, and traced the paper edge again. My knee brushed yours by accident, or by that sweet species of accident. Grown only in hidden places after midnight, I thought of taking the slip at once. I thought of leaving it there forever, proof that someone patient had once chosen me without making a spectacle of it. Maybe the whole romance is not the number, maybe it's the waiting, the green gloss of brine, the little dish between the till and my pulse, the way you let me have a choice and made that feel like luxury. Leave it there in the olive dish, leave it where the register sings. Leave your number by the salt and pitted shine. Let me want it before I take it. I have gone home with louder promises, none of them stayed this warm. Leave it there in the olive dish and let my heart reach for it on its own. At closing I took the olive and the paper and your eyes with me. Moonmilk in the sidecar glass, pale film where the cream of the night met the sharpness underneath. That's how I looked at you. Soft first and dangerous. The sugar rim caught the lamp and wore it like frost. I had been tired in a ladylike way, smiling through my set, trading standards for tips when you sent the drink over with no flourish. Just that pale gold curve and one cherry of light in the brandy. I sipped and tasted citrus smoke and the exact kind of loneliness that becomes glamour if framed correctly. Some drinks are all bright confession, this one held back. I trusted it for that. that I trusted you a little too. Moonmilk in the sidecar glass, let me float on the bitterness tonight. Let the sugar touch only the edge, let the center stay dark and true. Moonmilk in the sidecar glass, pale spell over a dangerous heart. Keep me suspended where tenderness and appetite meet. When I finally crossed to your table, you asked whether the drink was too sweet. I said sweetness wasn't the problem. You laughed low enough to make the answer feel private. The vibraphone and the speaker shone over us like thin moonlit rain. You told me the hidden room reminded you of hotels your mother loved, all velvet and secrecy and expensive sadness. I told you I used to study glamorous women just to learn where they hid the grief. You said, usually in the posture. It startled me how correct that was. I sat down before I meant to. There are nights when a room is merely pretty, then there are nights when it behaves like a confession booth for women too elegant to kneel. Moonmilk in the sidecar glass, let me float on the bitterness tonight. Let the sugar touch only the edge, let the center stay dark and true. Moonmilk in the sidecar glass, pale spell over a dangerous heart. Keep me suspended where tenderness and appetite meet. The last sip left a crescent on the glass. I wore the taste home like satin. There's a door hidden by the curtain, halfway down the hall, past the bathrooms, where the wallpaper gives up trying and the light gets gentler on purpose. New people never see it, regulars pretend they don't. But I watched your eyes find the seam the first night you came in, and I thought, here is someone familiar with disguise. I led you there after my second set, past the stacked high chairs, past the crate of empty seltzer, into the little room with one round table and a lamp the color of weak honey. The city outside can keep its headlines, and here we deal in smaller truths. Pulse, posture, breath, the luxury of not performing. A door hidden by the curtain, that is how I want love tonight. Not announced, not obvious from the street, just a quiet opening for the few who know to look curtain and the nerve to walk through it together. You touched the lamp chain once and left the room half darker. The guitar from the main floor came through the wall like rain through velvet. I asked what brought you here. You said a year I don't intend to repeat. I asked what you wanted now. You said something honest that doesn't shout. I laughed because same. Then we sat with our knees almost meeting, passing the little silver dish of almonds back and forth like a vow to shide a name. I have kissed men in brighter rooms and felt much less seen. Some women are taught to open like windows. I was taught to survive like a hidden hinge. So if I let you in, understand the scale of that mercy. A door hidden by the curtain, that is how I want love tonight. Not announced, not obvious from the street. Just a quiet opening for the few who know to look. A door hidden by the curtain and the nerve to walk through it together. When we left, the curtain fell straight again. Nothing in the hallway betrayed us. Machine hums in C, steady as a woman tying back her hair. Before she steps beneath the low bulb, behind the curtain, bottles blink. Like a city seen through tears, I sing low, not for the room, for the room behind the room, where the chef smokes by the crate door, where the dishwasher sways to the drain, where the girl who clears the lipstick glasses knows every chorus before I reach it. You said the night felt too quiet. I said no, listen closer. The tiny engine under the bar, the lemon peel striking steel, the storm each cube contains. Everything cold still shines, everything hard still melts. Give me one cracked glass and a kind tempo, and I can make a home of it. The ice machine hums in C, and all my bruised little thoughts fall into key. The room doesn't need a trumpet, doesn't need a headline or a fight. Just this hum, this low bright motor in the dark, this proof that the coldest thing in the room can still keep time for love. At 1:15 you moved to the side stool, close enough for your sleeve to touch my knee. You didn't interrupt the song, you let it finish. That's when I knew you understood women and the labor of arriving whole. The waitress stacked the tiny plates, someone laughed behind the curtain. entrance. I watched your face under the underbar light, half green, half gold, and thought of all the rooms that had been too bright for tenderness. This wasn't one of them. This place knew the value of dim mercy. If morning ever asked what saved me, I won't say your hands. I'll say the hum beneath everything, the soft machinery of staying alive. The way a hidden room can tune a heart without ever speaking its name. The ice machine hums and sees, and all my bruised little thoughts fall into key. The room doesn't need a trumpet, doesn't need a headline or a fight. Just this hum, this low bright motor in the dark. This proof that the coldest thing in the room can still keep time for love. By 2 a.m. the whole place is tuned to that note, and so am I. Matchbook folded like a bird beside the ashtray by my water glass. Wings pressed from red cardboard, a tiny beak made from the gold spine. I had seen every sort of number passed, every line scribbled on napkins, every desperate gesture men mistake for charm. But this small paper creature perched beside my drink like it knew how to wait. This nearly undid me. I turned it over in my palm and found no message, only the fold itself, careful as patience, bright as a thing meant to fly without leaving the table. Part is just longing with better posture. Maybe that's why I trusted the bird. It wanted nothing immediate from me. It only wanted to be noticed. A matchbook folded like a bird. Little red miracle, don't burn yet. Sit here by my glass and teach me a softer kind of wanting. A matchbook folded like a bird, all wings and maybe all paper courage, all the tenderness of not being rushed. Later, when I found you by the hall mirror, I held the bird up between us. Did you make this? You nodded, suddenly shy. I asked why there was no number. You said, if you wanted one, you'd ask. That nearly finished me. In a room built on performance, you had chosen restraint again. The cello from the speaker swelled like someone opening a curtain on water. I tucked the bird into my glove and for one irrational second believed all the bad years could be folded smaller, creased down into something that fit in one hand and still looked capable of flight. Desire can look like fire, but sometimes it looks like paper made by careful fingers, light enough to lift, fragile enough to deserve gentleness. A matchbook fold folded like a bird. Little red miracle, don't burn yet. Sit here by my glass and teach me a softer kind of wanting. A matchbook folded like a bird, all wings and maybe all paper courage, all the tenderness of not being rushed. I still keep it in the pocket of the black coat I wear when I want luck. Behind the ice machine, morning waits in a narrow blue seam, just visible through the service alley door where the mop bucket dries. And the deliveries will come too soon. The room is almost unmade now. Stools up, napkins gone slack, lipstick ghost on the last two coupes. I have sung myself nearly transparent, you are still here. Tie loosened, shirt untucked, looking like one more honest thing. The night forgot to hide before dawn. The bartender counts cash in the office. The dishwasher has stopped singing. Even the ice machine seems tired of itself. This is the hour when everything glamorous turns practical again. Strangely, I love it best. No audience, no arrangement, just aftermath and choice behind the ice machine. Morning, hold off 1 minute more. Let the hidden room stay hidden while I decide what to carry out of it. Behind the ice machine, morning, blue thread through our red velvet spell. Don't break the night too quickly. Let tenderness survive the inventory. You ask whether I ever sleep after nights like this. I say only in pieces. You say you could walk me home. I say you could, but don't make it noble. We both smile because the room has finally earned plain language. The harmonium in the speaker holds one long patient breath. I gather my gloves, my compact, the matchbook bird, the wax check, the stir, all the tiny proofs the night offer. That intimacy comes in portable forms. You take my coat from the hook and hold it open without drama. That might be the gentlest thing anyone has done for me all year. Love does not always arrive as fireworks. Sometimes it is the man still standing there when the chairs are upside down, when the floor is sticky, when the room has no reason left to flatter either of you. Behind the ice machine, morning, hold off 1 minute more. Let the step into the alley with the first milk truck. My song is over, the hush is not.